What up YouTube, welcome back to my channel. In today's video I'm going to break down some of Wheezy's most famous drum patterns and just kind of show y'all his sauce. And he actually executively produced Gunna's last album, which I also did a cook-up video on if you want to go check that out. And before we get started, make sure to go follow me on social media at inviral, you know what I'm saying, tap in with me. So pretty much all of Wheezy's beats are very simple, but he does have like a very distinct bounce that distinguishes all his beats. And it was actually crazy making this video because you don't understand how simple some of these beats are, but you know, they're hits. He's a hit maker. You know, his beats are super simple, but there's like some sort of minimalism that he can capture so well that other producers just can't do. I already know Logic fans in the comments are about to be like, why, wee. My 4-year-old could have made that beat. It's so simple. Like, bro, I feel like Wheezy is the Mark Rothko of trap beats. And if you don't know who that is, these are some of his paintings. So at the end of the day, the point of art is not to be complex. So the first song I'm going to deconstruct is Turks by Nav, Travis, and Gunna. You know, Navraj. But here, I'll just play the beat. It sounds super simple. I mean, the sample is hard, and then he adds those drums on top of it, and it just goes crazy, you know? I'm a late bloomer at the years on the scene. Nav also spazzes, like, so for the hi-hats, it's like a 2-step the whole time, and then he has like a 16th kind of roll thing over here. And then just generic clap. And the 808 is actually the most interesting part because I realized he does this pattern in a lot of his other beats, which I'll show in this later in this video. And the 808 is just the regular Beethoven 808. You know, and he uses this pretty much in all his beats. But you know, the thing about Wheezy's 808 patterns is it like never goes crazy or anything. He's not like Jetson, where Jetson's 808s usually go crazy, but Wheezy keeps it very simple. Usually just one hit on the 1 and then another hit on the 4th beat. And yeah, I realized like he pretty much only used 3 to 4 sounds in all of his beats, and the last sound he added to this, just an open hat on every first beat. You know, it's super simple, but that's what kind of makes it special, just because like there's not too much going on, so Nav and Gunna can go crazy on it. Not mentioning Travis, because Travis's verse was low-key ass on that song. You know, not every beat is supposed to be sounding like Beethoven's 4th Symphony in G minor. Like, bro, this song is in C-sharp mixolydian, ass up. Alright, so the next song that I'm going to break down is Hot by Gunna and Thug. This was a huge song last year. You know, everything lady I love when it's hot. And so I want to just point out how a lot of his beats are like in the range of 110 to 120. He likes those like slow kind of beats. He doesn't really do too much fast stuff. So I'll just play it for you guys. So another very simple beat, except this time the hi-hats do a lot more rolls and stuff. So for the rolls, Wheezy pretty much always uses 6-beat, and that's pretty much like triplets. And for this, he does rolls like over here, kind of like slower ones, and then a fast one over here. It's pretty much like a 2-bar loop, the whole song. Going over the 808, it's actually identical to the 808 from Turks. It just goes on the first beat and then the 4th beat, and it just repeats for the whole song. So yeah, I mean, I'm not kidding when I say his 808s are really like super simple. He doesn't do anything extra. Pretty much stays on the same note for this whole song, just because like C is a really low note, so it hits pretty hard. You know, for the clap, it's nothing special, just on the 3rd beat. All right, and the last element he added to this beat was just the snare. You know, nothing crazy. It's, again, the whole beat is just 4 sounds. All right, moving on to the next song. This is Yes Indeed by Lil Baby and Drake. And this is at 120 BPM, so he does like to just keep it in that range, as I said before. I think this was the first time I heard his tag Wheezy Outta here. Before that, his tag was Wheezy Beats. And you probably heard that a lot on Young Thug's old songs if you were a Young Thug fan, which I was back in the day. Compared to the other beats that I showed in this video, the hi-hats on this song are kind of complex. But again, the whole beat is not really too crazy. So I'll play it. So for the hi-hats, it's again on 1/6 step, except this time he just made the rolls like a bit quicker. So one thing Wheezy likes to do on this beat is like put the roll exactly where the clap lands. So the clap lands on this beat over here, and he did a roll specifically on that. So it adds a creative groove to it. Some of his rolls, he likes to take the note down, which is very common nowadays. You know, take the note down of your roll so it's like a little deeper. And then also just when you're doing rolls, like don't be afraid to make it really short and kind of like leave it hanging. So like he could have made the roll like this, but that doesn't really feel that like choppy as this. All right, moving on to the 808 for this. Again, it's like a very simple 808 pattern. And as you can see in this beat, the 808 goes higher, a little bit higher comparatively because it goes up to F, but it's still like relatively low, like C sharp and D sharp. And the last sound he added was just the clap, which goes in the same place. You know, it's another beat where it's literally 3 sounds and just the loop. All right, so the next song is probably one of my favorites. It's Going Bad by Drizzy and Meek Millie. All right, so this beat actually is not in the usual tempo that Wheezy likes to make his beats at, like 110 to 120. It's actually at 86, which is a little bit faster, but it's still a cool bounce. And as you can see, the 808 pattern is still very simple, nothing too crazy going on, and it's just on a B the whole time, except it goes up to a D sometimes. It's on the 1 and then it hits on the end of the 2, and then the second part goes a little bit more complicated, and then it repeats, and then the last part is like this. And as you can see, he leaves it hanging. He doesn't really do anything else over here, just kind of leaves the loop to repeat. So you know, you don't have to do too much at the end of the pattern. Kind of give the 808 a break, and then when it comes back on the 1 again, it'll hit harder than if you do some extra shit over here. And the hi-hats are just a simple 2-step pattern the whole time. And the last thing he added to this beat was just a clap. Back home smoking legal, hey. You know, type shit. Alright, so the last beat I'm going to deconstruct in this video is Can't Leave Without It by 21 Savage, Gunna, and Lil Baby. And this is one of my favorites just because the Q beat sample goes crazy, but then Wheezy also goes crazy. Alright, so once again, the 808 is pretty much the same as from Hot and Turks, and it goes on the 1 and then the 4, and then the 1 and the 4, and then the 4 over here. But it's just different because he did play it in different notes, so it goes from F sharp to D to C sharp, just to kind of like start up high and then go low, which is a common theme in a lot of Wheezy's beats, to, you know, start the 808 high and then kind of go low. You know, sometimes he like makes his 808s very high, so then it contrasts with like lower notes, but then also other beats he just leaves it on like a C, for example, just like low the whole time. I'm full gang. If you reach for my chain, a fella gonna die in his bitch. A, B, C, D, E, F, G, wagging y'all for doing that big cap. You know, I feel like if Sir Savage the 21st was the board director of education, you know, I feel like he'd probably make it mandatory for kindergartners to listen to that song just to learn their ABCs. Alright guys, so that's pretty much it for this video. If you found this video interesting, please give it a like and share it with your other friends who like Wheezy's beats. And yeah, I can definitely do other producers' drums deconstructed if you guys want. Just let me know in the comments, and I'll see you guys later.